Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirit. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with your host Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. Thank you for tuning in to another action-packed show. As in this week's episode, we're going to be deep diving with the topic of synchronicities. Also in this week's episode, we have the channeling from the world of spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for spirit to bring their wisdom and communications through. And then later on in this episode, we have this week's forecast reading, which will hopefully help you navigate your way through the twists and turns of this week ahead. So without further ado, let's crack on. As I say, we're going to be looking into the subject matter of synchronicities. So some people use the term, that's a coincidence. Me personally, I prefer the term synchronicities. And what I mean by that is everything happens for a reason. Vibrationally, things match up, things line up in order to come into your life, to be experienced in your life, and you to simply observe these things lining and matching up. And it's a magical experience when we see them and observe them and witnessing it coming into our life. It makes you want to pinch yourself. Am I really seeing this? Is this really happening? It's those type of moments. Like I say, some people call this the term coincidence. No, and I prefer synchronicities because I believe there's a greater force, there's a greater vibrational alignment at play, working behind the scenes in order to make all of these matches and things line up within your life. I would say being in alignment is basically you being in a state of vibrational match to whatever it is that is lining up for you to experience in your life. Now, we've all experienced things within our life where things aren't lining up and matching up, and we have all these wants and these desires in our mind, in our head, yet on a vibrational level we're not quite there yet. We're not matching up and lining up with these vibrations, and therefore we're not experiencing the things that we are wanting to experience. And I would say when we're in this slump, so to speak, with our vibration, it is our choice in any one given moment, for that matter, to make a conscious decision. If something isn't working or isn't coming into your life there, then it is up to you to shift your frequency around that very thing and perceive it differently, to heighten your vibration so that you are in vibrational alignment with that you are wanting to experience. I would say when you do experience vibrational alignment, when your vibration is heightening, there are various symptoms that you can be made aware of and to look out for. And so this will give you a piece of encouragement, if you will, to let you know that actually things are happening, things are on the way, and this is how I know this. So some of these symptoms that I'm talking about is, again, most of us listening to this will have experienced this, whether consciously or subconsciously in our lives there, where all of a sudden we get like a ringing in our ears, and it's like a high-pitched noise, like a doo, and it starts very intense, and then it fades out like a doo, and then our hearing is restored back to normal. And usually when this happens, it feels like we have a lightning rod being placed, like an electricity charge being placed through our head as well, like that sort of intense feeling. Where people talk about brain freezers when they're eating cold foods or something like that. It's a similar experience in the mind when we're hearing this high vibrational frequency tone. It's nothing to worry about. It's nothing medical. It's simply vibration coming into alignment, you tapping into that vibration and your vibration heightening. So that's what's happening. Also, you may notice, like I say, you'll feel lightheaded, and you may feel a little bit dizzy and a little bit spaced out, all for a split second. Nothing too too long in time, but you'll notice it nevertheless, and you'll feel, oh, that's unusual. That's strange. And then all of a sudden you'll return back to your normality, and you'll feel slightly different there. You'll also notice, again, this happens very quickly, like blurred vision. And all of a sudden your eyes go slightly blurry and then come back into focus and back into alignment. This is another telltale sign of that you're heightening and changing your vibration. So again, nothing to worry about medically when this happens, because it comes and it goes very rapidly. It doesn't stay there for long. You may notice that you're more emotionally sensitive. And what I mean by that is like the littlest thing can trigger an emotional response from you, can irritate you, can frustrate you, can even bring you a sense of joy. You may even be picking up on other people's energy on a deeper level there. Again, this is an indication that your vibration is changing, it is heightening, and you're becoming extra sensory where it comes to all of your senses there. You may find yourself yawning. Even if you've had a full night's rest and you find yourself yawning, again, this is you getting more oxygen into the system there. This is your vibrational state changing. So just a few little telltale signs to look out for to let you know that your vibration is heightening and that you're going to be in that vibrational alignment with those things that you are wanting to either create or desire or manifest into your life. It's more than likely going to come into your now moment consciousness, particularly after you've experienced these symptoms that I've just described to you. What you will notice as well is your observational skills will be more in alignment. You'll be more aware of them. And what I mean by this, you know, a lot of us, myself included, I've been through this phase in my life where we walk through life with the blinkers on, where we're just in our own little bubble and we're not aware of what is happening around us. And, you know, we're all guilty of that at some point in our life. But when you become more observational, you begin to notice these subtle nuances that are happening all around you at every moment of your life there. And it can be anything from seeing signs, from observing people's body language, also opportunities coming your way where perhaps you've been so fixed and rigid in your own bubble, in your own mindset, that you haven't been aware of them previously to actually heightening your vibration and observing these vibrational changes in your life there. So it's a wonderful thing. And when it does start to occur, it feels like magic almost. And like I say, a great analogy to use is when you visualize taking blinkers off of a horse, you get that full 360 vision all around you, and you can observe not only visually, but I want to say on an energetic, emotional level, also with hearing as well, and just on a spiritual level and an energetic level. You're more aware and you're more receptive and open to witnessing the things that are occurring in and around you in each and every moment. So, with this being said, I also want to say that you'll start to adopt a different form of thinking. Maybe prior to this happening, you may have been quite cynical, a little bit negative in your thought processes that, you know, nothing good happens to me, and all this is, it's always happening to me. Why is it me? Why can't I have some good luck? And, you know, you get all that negative responses to the things that happen in our life. But when you change your vibration and when you notice these shifts in your frequency, like I say, you will start to adopt a different way of thinking. And you'll start to have a belief system that everything happens for a reason. There's a reason behind it. There's an intelligence far beyond your own limited thinking there. You'll also adopt, shall we say, a thought in your mind that everything in your life is a blessing. It's for you. It's not against you. It's a teacher. It's teaching you something. It's helping you move into a new vibrational alignment. It's giving you that opportunity of contrast so that you can start to make more choices that are in alignment with your current vibration. And as we've said previously on other episodes, our energetic vibration is continually changing. And the reason for this is because with each and every moment, nothing stays the same. We're expanding, we are growing. Things come into our life to set to challenges, to provide us that area of contrast in our life where we can either choose to make this decision or that decision, or in fact, we can stay where we are at by not making a decision. But as I've said many times before, that I believe by not making a decision is actually you're making a decision, because you're accepting what is happening in your life. And in actual fact, you're encouraging it to happen again and again and again until you start to witness that contrast and then make a more definitive choice where you can say, I don't want that anymore. I want this instead. So you start to adopt this different belief system that everything happens for a reason, and you'll start to appreciate and understand the intelligence behind of all of these things that happen in your life. And it's a beautiful, beautiful experience when you start to think in that way. You'll start to be more positive in your mind, your vibration will heighten there. And also you won't be as restrictive and reserved in your life when opportunities and when things occur in every moment within your life. You'll have an openness, a playfulness, shall we say, almost childlike, where you're wanting to explore it further and see where these things take you. I really like this saying, and I think it's very relevant to a lot of us. What is meant for you won't pass you by. So with adopting this different mindset, what is meant for you won't pass you by. It's moving you out of that fear response, that fear vibration that perhaps has been keeping you stuck. It's been keeping you in a negative mindset and vibration, which in turn has been stopping you from aligning with the vibration that you want to experience. I could give many examples for this, but one of them in particular is I'm a big believer where relationships of a romantic nature are concerned, that you meet the people that you need to meet. Everything happens for a reason. And, you know, if you're experiencing being single, I know I certainly am at the moment, and I've been through periods of my life when I've been in relationships and then out of relationships. And at one time I would hold that level of, well, who's going to come in next, you know, and I'd be a little bit anxious where relationships are concerned and who was going to be my next partner sort of thing, and continually looking over your shoulder and having that sort of vibration. Well, obviously that is coming from a vibration of anxiousness, which is connected with fear. So you're not trusting the universe and your life's path and your life's calling and your life's plan by thinking and vibrating in that vibration. So adopting that mindset of what is meant for you won't pass you by. It stops that resistance. It heightens your vibration. And instead of having experiences with relationships of maybe negative experiences, maybe people that have pushed your buttons, have triggered you in some way within that relationship, instead of going through that repeat process over and over and again, you'll have a different experience. You'll start to match up and line up with the people that are meant for you in your life. That's going to add value, that's going to add flow, that's going to add love and appreciation and respect, and have all of those values of yours met and matched up with. There'll be many of you thinking, well, what happens to the relationships that you've had that you perceive as negative, and you didn't enjoy those relationships, yet you experienced them anyway? Again, this is where the magic of what we're talking about, synchronicities, everything happens for a reason. And it is my belief that if you have been in relationships with ex-partners that you don't align with, that you've fallen out with, or whatever happened in the relationship, I believe that you were meant to go through that experience. You were meant to go through that relationship because it did provide you some valuable life lessons. It provided you that, I would say, experience of contrast. So by going through those elements, you'll discover, well, actually, I don't like that personality. I don't like being treated that way. I deserve respect and love and all of those qualities. Perhaps at the time when you was going through that relationship, you didn't have those values in your mind. You didn't see that value within yourself. But that relationship that you went through has been one of your greatest teachers. It has enabled you to see the greater good within yourself and what you are worthy of and what you feel you're wanting to be more in alignment with, which in turn, that contrast is allowing you to make more conscious decisions so you can align with the vibration of the people or the loved one or the new relationship that is meant to be in your life. So with this being said, it's a long answer, but with this being said, don't despair. Those people that are single and, you're going throughout your life and you're thinking, well, when is it my turn? Everybody's getting married and everybody's hooking up and all of this. Don't despair, because what is meant for you will not pass you by. Have that faith, have that patience. And if anything, continue to do the inner work with yourself by looking at contrast so that you can make choices. And then again, look for those symptoms I was describing about the ears ringing, feeling lightheaded, feeling emotionally sensitive. These vibrations will come on a lot more regular when you have done the inner work and you're letting go of that old mental, emotional, physical debris that you've been carrying around that's been keeping you stuck wherever you happen to be, whatever chapter you happen to be in your life. So what is meant for you won't pass you by. So hold that statement very close to your heart, because that will get you through some very tough times. I say tough times. Let's reframe that. Periods of contrast in your life. It will get you through it, and it will help you to have faith, have patience, and be more open and receptive to receiving what is meant for you. So I'm going to give you a few examples of synchronicities. There's many that occur. Now, this happens to me a lot, and I'm sure a lot of you listening to this will have experienced this also. And this is where perhaps you're on your mobile phone and you're scrolling through your social media and you happen to read somebody's post. And at that exact same time, you read that post, and either someone in the room that you're located in, or you may have the TV on, they say that exact same word as you are reading it at that specific moment in time. To me, that is a synchronicity. That is proof that everything is in vibrational alignment, and the fact that you heard and you read that statement at the same time, those two elements weren't connected or related or on a similar feed or anything like that. They weren't connected by AI or nothing like that. It just synchronized up so that you were able to witness that experience. That is an indication that you're in the right place at the right time and everything is happening for you. So be aware of that. That is one example. I would also say that repetitive information. So, for example, you may hear somebody say a statement or a word in their communications that you're saying sticks in your head. And then later on in that day, you may be in town or on public transport, and just in earshot, you can hear somebody else talking. And instantly, when you hear them talking, they're saying the exact same word that you were hearing earlier. And then later on in that day, you may hear that word being mentioned again as well. Usually, in my experience, it comes in threes. So, that is another form of synchronicity. It comes in threes. And I would take, obviously, mental note of that word that you've heard several times over in that day, because obviously that is a message for you from the universe. Inspect that word. What I generally do when I hear a word is I do what I would call diving deep with the word. So I'll dissect that word, and I'll look for more information that I can extract from that one word. Sometimes a word can lead you on to another word. For example, if I was to say dog, I would then instantly go to that statement, a dog is a man or a woman's best friend. So we've got friend there. We have male and female energy within that message. So that could indicate balance in your life. It could indicate that there's a new energy, there's a new friendship coming into your life there. I would also, from the word dog, if we reverse it, we've got the word God, G-O-D as well. So this could be the creator energy bringing that vibration to you, bringing that information to you. Also, there may be a need for you to connect in with your higher self, with the creator energy. Maybe you're not saying prayers, or maybe you're not asking for help. Many of us go throughout life continually just doing things off our own back, and we don't feel as though we need to ask for help. But maybe this is a little hint for you to do that. Again, I'm just giving you examples with this. So explore that word and just pay attention throughout the course of that day. Usually it comes about 3 times, I find, which in essence, again, I wouldn't ignore that number because there will be a message in that. So research the angel number of number 3 and you'll get some additional content and information. So moving on with this, synchronicities can happen, as I was just touching upon there. Numbers. If you see numbers throughout the course of your day, maybe numbers are house numbers, maybe numbers on social media or a text, or maybe it's somebody's phone number. It could even be numbers on a number plate on a vehicle there, or you just may be hearing people calling out numbers. Well, again, do not ignore the obvious. What I'd like you to do is observe that number, write it down, go and research it as an angel number. There will be a message in that for you that perhaps is the information that you need to know at that moment in time, that's going to give you that encouragement, that inspiration to let you know that you're on the right path. And this is why you were in that right place, to witness that number, to get that message, to give you that encouragement so that you can thrive and move forward on your timeline. We've mentioned words as well. Another thing that is often overlooked, and this is seeing animals. So going through our day-to-day life, we can see them in person, in the physical. So you may look through your kitchen window and you can see a robin there dancing around on the fence. You may notice another species of animal there, maybe a pigeon or a dove or something like that. Again, pay attention. This will be a messenger for you. This will be information from the universe to let you know that there's some information you need to look at. And the fact that you saw that animal at that moment in time is a message in itself. So go and research that as an animal totem. And you can do this by going on any not social media, but any search engine, typing in the animal totem that you were witnessing, and then read that paragraph. And there will be some information within that that will give you that guidance, that will give you that information, that encouragement, that message that you needed to know at that moment in time. And that's why you saw that animal. So, as I say, everything happens for a reason. There's always something to extract from these experiences. And the more aware that you are of them, the more likely you're going to experience more of these synchronicities. You may even notice that because you're being more aware, your family members are starting to notice synchronicities in their lives. It can have a knock-on effect when we heighten our vibration by doing this. Another example I could give you is when we bump into somebody, maybe we're in town or the city, we're just doing our weekly shop, and we bump into an old acquaintance that we haven't seen for years. And we're having a conversation with them. We're checking in with them. How are they doing? They ask how you're doing. They ask what you're doing in your life, what your job is, how the family are and everything. And in that conversation, it might be 5 minutes in length. There comes some key points within the conversation, synchronicities, if you will, where they say, "Oh, so you do that now, do you? Well, actually, I've got a friend that does this as well." I'm keeping it ambiguous so that you can make it fit to your life with this example. And so, you'll notice actually we've got that in common. And I've got a friend that can do that may be able to help you to progress maybe with your business. Would you like me to get in touch with them or give you their number so that you can exchange information? I'm sure they can help you. How many times have you all experienced that? Maybe you've been that person that have been that person that's connected somebody to somebody else to help them on their timeline. Maybe you've been on the receiving end of that. Somebody has connected you with one of their acquaintances. And in doing so, that wouldn't have happened if you hadn't have bumped into that individual at the right place at the right time. More often than not, these synchronicities happen for a reason, and it's to help you expand your consciousness, your awareness, and help you on your timeline, on your path. So it's fantastic when that happens. I experienced a synchronicity, if you will, a few weeks back. As many of you know, I'm part of a paranormal events team, and we travel all across the UK, and we work at different locations, castles, prisons, old Victorian buildings, you name it. We've gone there and we've held events there with guests in attendance. And why I'm bringing this up, quite recently, a few weeks ago, it turns out that we were hosting this event, and I got chatting to one of the guests there. And as it turns out, this lady used to be a teacher at my comprehensive school. And bearing in mind, we were miles away. We were the other end of the country. And this lady had travelled all the way from my hometown. I didn't know her personally. But anyway, she was a teacher at my old comprehensive school. And we was chatting away. And it turns out that she was there teaching whilst I was in comprehensive school, whilst I was still there. And I can't remember placing this lady's face, or I believe that she was in a different location within the building, but she was teaching some of my year whilst I was there. But I never experienced having her as a teacher. She did mention a few names of other teachers that she did work alongside with. And in actual fact, there was a lot of them that actually taught me in my year there. And this lady was a lovely lady, so down to earth, very interested in the paranormal. And, you wouldn't think that of somebody that was, well, I certainly didn't, that was an ex-teacher. And she was very gifted, very sensitive there with natural spiritual gifts, and lovely and friendly to meet. And the fact that she was from my hometown, and I've never met her there before either, and that she travelled all that way again to attend this event. That was quite fascinating. I found that intriguing, the fact that all of these synchronicities had to line up for us to have that conversation and to notice all of these coincidences, shall we say, or synchronicities that have occurred in our lives there. So it's a marvellous, magical thing when we experience it, isn't it? I've often had experiences where the phone rings and somebody's just ringing me up and they're talking about or offering me an opportunity to work at a certain event or a certain opportunity. And prior to having that phone call, I was just having the conversation, and then all of a sudden that person rings me up and there we go. it just amazes me. It is so magical when we move into these frequencies and these opportunities, when we're open. Sometimes it takes something major to happen in our lives to shake us to the core on a mental, emotional, physical level, where it shakes us out of that old way of thinking, the old belief system, and it lets us be more open to the magic of the universe entering our lives, where we can observe all of these things I've been describing today and actually trust the process a little bit more, explore it more with playful curiosity, and be more open to receiving and moving and going with the flow of the highest good, the highest intentions of the universe. And now I believe that we all have a soul path, a soul journey, and we all have various points in our lives that we need to, shall we say, tick the boxes off that we need to do in order to thrive on our soul's path. And I believe that our spirit guides are there to encourage us, to inspire us, not to tell us what to do, but to inspire us and encourage us to stay on point and on path with our soul agreement. And along that soul agreement, I believe that this is where synchronicities come in. This is where we can see that magic lining up. This is where we can see part of our soul agreement coming into our now moment consciousness. And when we see and experience and feel that magic, it brings something to the table, I believe. It's nothing that I can describe on here with any words. You just have to experience it, and then you'll notice that your life will change with ease and grace, and you'll know that everything is for you, it's happening for you, not against you, for your greatest good, for your expansion. So just bear that in mind in every twist and turn of your life. And when you adopt this different way of thinking, you'll notice that what you once perceived as a sticky situation, a negative situation, once you turn that around in your mind, you will flow through that situation. You won't be stuck in it, and you'll move into a new chapter a lot quicker. And this chapter will vibrate with you on a higher vibrational frequency. So as I say, life begins to flow when you accept more opportunities that come your way. If you're anything like me, I'm pretty organized. I'm pretty stubborn with things. And so I've learned this lesson many times over, where I've had to take the blinkers off, take a step back, see the bigger picture, accept things for what they are, and just know and feel into life, and life begins to flow more fluidly in the direction of my soul agreement, my soul path. So I hope this little conversation today has given you something to think about in your belief systems and the way that you operate on a day-to-day basis. And just to give you that belief system, if anything, that everything is happening for you for a reason, and that what is meant for you won't pass you by. Well, we're now going to move into the next segment of the show, which is this week's channeling from the world of spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for spirit to bring their wisdoms and communications through. Slightly ahead of that, I'd just like to touch base with you all and see how you are all doing. If you've noticed any substantial changes in your life, whether this is physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. I know I certainly have. As I've previously said, I'm in recovery from an operation. And I'm finding that I'm slowly getting myself back into normality, back on my feet, doing the work that I love, working with spirit and community as well. And I've also noticed that, I've got to keep that balance going in my life as well, showing that little bit of love and respect for myself, a little bit more than perhaps I did previously. So I've been noticing that recently. Also ascension symptoms as well. I've been noticing them quite a lot, and the ringing in the ears particularly has been very, very strong over these last few weeks. So I know there's a lot happening behind the scenes there on an energetic level and a DNA level there. So I just wanted to touch base and see if anybody else is experiencing the same thing. It'd be interesting to hear from you and your experiences of that. Anyway, sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's channeling from the world of spirit.
Hello. Thank you for allowing me to come forward. My name is Gordon Jenkins, and I've been tasked with the opportunity to come forward and talk to you about some ascension symptoms. A lot of you at this moment will be going through some, and I'm going to describe the process to you. The obvious one being ringing in your ears and having a high pitch frequency shrill going through the ear canal and giving an experience of going through the mind and making the mind feel rather sharp and on edge and uncomfortable for a brief moment. The most 2 minutes in length, but more often than not, around the 30-40 second mark is what you'll encounter. A lot of you will be going through the symptoms of, this is a new one actually, where your vision will be slightly altered during these very important changes. What to look out for is where your eyesight is becoming glue-like, where you're finding it difficult to focus on one thing because everything is beginning to look a little bit blurry for you. Now, this process may take a little bit longer. It can be occurring between 30 seconds and 6 to 10 minutes, depending upon the individual. Why this is happening is to align you to what is really happening in your dimension, and you'll begin to notice and witness all of these faceted parts of your, shall we say, universe coming together as one. That in itself is a beautiful thing, because you will start to notice other dimensions in your present dimension. And I can't really give you too many examples because there's far too many to mention, but what I will say is that you will start to see shapes, colours, different things and objects coming into form and then disappearing again, moving in and out of alignment with the vibration that you're tuning into, because you will be shifting in between frequencies, and that's where you're going to experience and see a lot of this phenomena, as you would call it. But in actual fact, it's just everything, it's the truth of everything all happening at the same time. You may notice also aches and pains, particularly in your back and in your spine. And as you know, your spine is the central nervous system, and it travels, a lot of information travels to and from using the spine. So what is happening there is that your sensitivity is increasing, and you will have a sense of change in your environment, and you will be able to feel into truth vibrations when they are in abundance. With that being said, you will also notice things that are not of the truth, and it will play heavy upon your physicality, and you'll know it, and you'll have to move out of that area where there is that vibration of untruths, so that you can feel more comfortable in your own vibration. A lot of you will be experiencing aches and pains in the joints and in the, shall we say, extremities, such as your arms and your legs. Some may have numbing sensation, a change in temperature that occurs around them. Again, this is also ascension symptoms. And the reason for a lot of these symptoms occurring is because you're moving into a new vista, a new world of operation. Now, just to clarify, the old world in which you were born and grew up in, that has shifted and that has far gone. And you're moving into a new dimension where all of the old belief systems will have to make way, will have to come to the surface to be acknowledged so that you can let them go. And with letting them go, you will notice this change and shift in your vibration where everything seems different. The same, but different. Improved, if you will. More high vibrationally, more sensitive, more abundant of information, where perhaps before these changes, you had a level of numbness about you, where you wasn't aware of this additional information. Excuse me, we're having some adjustments with the vehicle. So in these new times, you will be experiencing new levels of information that has been suppressed from you. You will begin to feel it, see it, hear it, sense it. And that's what this ascension is all about. So that you're moving back into true authenticity, because you have been numbed and your vibration has been kept in a dull-like state, so that you were not aware of these changes. We say changes. Excuse me. Again, we are adjusting with the vessel. We say changes, but this is the true authenticity. You're moving back into that. So it can cause a vast degree of upset when you move into it. But that's some of the things I wanted to express to you all today, to be mindful of and not to be fearful of, because you are returning back to your true authenticity. Another thing is that your likes and your dislikes will change because of your vibration and DNA reconfiguration being readjusted. So things that you once aligned with are now going to be released. But that's enough from me talking to you. I hope you got the gist of this conversation. I'm now obliged to step aside and allow another communicator to come forward and share some of their wisdoms with you and their healings. But thank you for listening. We really appreciate it all. Goodbye for now.
Well, hello. My name's Justine Silvers, and I've been given the task to come forward and speak to you about journaling. Journaling is a form of releasement and a form of healing that every one of you can do. And this is where you express how you're feeling and what you're experiencing in the form of writing. And you write it down into some sort of diary or journal, so that you're expressing your day-to-day emotions, your feelings, your experiences. And by doing this, it is a great tool to help you navigate your way through these changes that the previous communicator did speak of. This will also cement in your being that you are not going crazy, that you are not imagining things. In actual fact, you are moving into the great reset, the great change of vibration. And by reading back through your notes and your observations in your journal, this will cement and give you the evidence that you need, that you are experiencing these things on an incremental basis, so not to alarm, frustrate, or irritate you, or put you into fear vibration. Journaling is a great gift that you will give to future generations, allowing them to see and observe what to look for when these great shifts of vibrational, energetic, and DNA reconfigurations do come into occurrence. It will give them something to look into and to understand what generations before them had to go through and the sacrifices they had to make in order for their generation to flourish and grow. So we recommend you doing this when you feel that inclination to maybe release some of these frustrations, because a lot of you will be going through these circumstances and you'll be feeling agitated. You'll be feeling an abundance of energy and emotions coming from nowhere, and yet you will feel there is nowhere to express them, nobody to talk to, for fear of being judged and ridiculed. So we say journaling is a wonderful opportunity in order to clear your own vibration and shift those old energies from your physicality and move them out so that they are healed and you have severed those ties to the old vibrations that will not serve you or your generation any further. Speaking about these energies, we don't want you to feel the feeling of regret or frustration in any way, because some of these ascension codes and symptoms will make you initially feel that way in the beginning. We want you to weather the storm and rise above it by simply being present, open, and in a vibration of allowance, and that will help you to move forward with ease and with grace. So I hope this has given you something else to consider of the changes that you are experiencing. I'm now obliged to step aside and allow another communicator to come in to finish off our communications for this episode. Thank you.
Well, well, well. My name is John James Barnes, and I've been tasked with coming in today to just share what's going off in your global community. There is a lot of changes occurring where it will give the appearance that things are crumbling at the seams. Establishment, governments, police, army, the financial sector will all appear to be crashing and crumbling, and it will install a vibration of fear and worry in the global population. This is where we would like to give you the encouragement to trust your gut instinct, your innate wisdom, because there will be no right or wrong answers during this time, and you will all witness being given news and information that is difficult to latch onto. You'll find it hard to believe it or disbelieve it. So we encourage you to trust into your innate wisdom, following your gut instinct and your heart vibration. You will have an instant knowing whether something is of the truth and is of the light. And you'll also have a knowing if something is of fear and is of dark vibration, misalignments, mistruths. This is a great time to be alive in this planet that you occupy. And it allows you all to reset back to divine oneness, where you all trust who you are and what you came here to do, despite the information that's being fed to you by those that are wishing to control and limit your freedom of vibration. You will also witness changes, as we say, in your financial sector. And we like to encourage the words, fairness for all. This is where everybody gets an equal share of the pie, where everybody begins to live a little more than perhaps they did because new opportunities are being made available to them. And other entities, other worlds will be exposed to the point where corruption will be so blatant and they will not be able to tread that path any longer of deception, because you will feel and see your way through it. And therefore these individuals that are walking this path of truth and of light will begin to make their own opportunities, raise their own communities, and embrace their own technologies, and create a world far beyond anything that has ever gone before it. So we thank you for listening, and we leave you with these words of encouragement. Breathe, slow your vibration down, and allow the intuitive information to blend with you. That is the only way forward, my friends. We leave you our love and healing for now. God bless.
Fantastic communication there from the world of spirit. Very interesting to hear about the ascension symptoms, and also being aware of energy that isn't untrue and in alignment with the truth. Also journaling, how important that is, releasing, healing, and also it allows us to fully express ourselves and communicate those darker sides of ourselves that we don't allow light to be shed upon. And also hearing about the changes in society, and that there will be elements crumbling away in order to make space for the new to come in, but to remain strong and to trust your gut instincts throughout the course of this transition. So next we're going to move into this week's forecast reading. So sit back, relax, and take some notes if you wish, and enjoy this week's forecast reading from the world of spirit. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I'm a spiritual medium, and welcome to this week's energy forecast reading for the week commencing Monday the 12th of May 2025. Now, those of you that have watched me work before will know that I connect with my spirit guides and helpers and also consult the wisdom of the angel tarot cards. So what I'm about to do is just shuffle the pack and allow a card to come out for this week's forecast reading. So this is your card for this week's reading. I'm now going to link into the energy of that. First of all, I feel as though there's some substantial changes coming into your life this week. I'm being given the word perseverance and to keep on keeping on, simply because this week will see you actually thriving on your timeline. And there's going to be new opportunities that will enter your life this week. And you have the responsibility, obviously you have free will as well, but in this occasion, my guides are recommending that you say yes and you stop holding yourself back. Also this week, it is very much going to be appreciated by your physical body, your vibration, that when you feel the inclination to take some time out and well-deserved rest, this could come into the form of maybe 5 minutes cat nap. Maybe if you can take half a day off or have a day out. This will benefit you greatly, because this is the end of the free version of the weekly forecast reading. If you would like to see the entirety of this week's forecast reading, then you can do that by subscribing. And as a subscriber, what you will receive is the full version of the weekly forecast reading. You will also receive the audio for the weekly radio show, and also you'll receive 10% off all of my spiritual services there. So this includes all of the readings there for you to benefit from. And also you will receive new updates and information and news of what's happening with myself and the services that I provide, and also the events that I take part in. You'll hear all about that ahead of everybody else. And this is because you're a subscriber to Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium. So you can find a link either above or below this video where by clicking on the link, you can then become a subscriber to reap all of the benefits that I've described to you. So I look forward to having you on this journey with me as a Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium subscriber. Thank you for taking time to watch this video and supporting the work that Spirit and myself work together in doing so. Well, it looks like there's a lot for us to embrace and look forward to within this week. So I hope that has given you maybe a smidgen, an insight, if you will, into this week ahead. And like I was saying there previously, to hear the full version of that, you can be a subscriber. And it's such a benefit in order for you to hear all of that information. And obviously, I'm grateful for all of your support and on this path and on this journey. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode and you've found that the content and the information has maybe helped you maybe look at things slightly differently, maybe globally, energetically, spiritually, and also that you've embraced that spiritual wisdom, again, channeled or influenced from the world of spirit. And it's always a pleasure to come forward and deliver these truths, this information and this guidance from spirit every week. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I really, really do appreciate all of your support, all of your help and all of your sharing of the content as well. Also, just to ask of you and invite you, if you do have any topics you would like us to cover here on From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, anything of a spiritual, paranormal or self-help nature, then you can contact me at www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can email me at glennboddice@live.co.uk. As ever, it would be fascinating to hear from you and also to dive in deep with some of those subject matters as well. Also with the show, you have a lot to look forward to because once a month, as you know, we connect with our co-host Christina Bloom, and that is just changed format slightly as we are extending our conversations to 1 hour. And also with that, we're doing video as well as audio, so you can see us both interacting with one another, and so do look out for that. And also just to let you know, with the show, potentially we will be having some guests at some stage, and we'll be finding out a little bit more about those guests and their specialities, and also any topics that we can talk about and discuss on a deeper level. So do watch out for these things. And you may see a few clips popping up over social media of some of the episodes there. Again, we're wanting to share that wisdom, share that light, and let more people embrace some of these truths from spirit. So if you do see that pop up in your social media, then please do give it a like and a share, because that's what it's all about, helping one another raise our consciousness and awareness and vibration. Can I also just quickly mention that for those of you that didn't know, I do spiritual development classes online every week over Zoom, and this happens on a Wednesday evening at 7:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time through till 9:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time for the cost of £10. So if you're wanting to expand your spiritual gifts and abilities, you can join me every Wednesday. If you can't make Wednesday, then I also operate a class every Thursday, again the same time, 7:30 p.m. through till 9:30 p.m. over Zoom there, and again for the same price for the cost of £10, and we cover all aspects under the spiritual development umbrella. No 2 week is the same. We do 2 elements with each class, and you're in safe hands, safe company, and there's some beautiful people that are in attendance every week from all over the world, and you'll be able to join us from the comfort of your own home. So anyway, I wish you a wonderful week ahead, whatever it is you have planned, and join me next week at the usual time. Take care. God bless. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to From Beyond. more information about what products and services Glenn provides, go to Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium